leading a group of salespeople is one thing, but looking forward and building out what is the client experience going to be like in every market and making it the same regardless of market, that's an uphill battle. When we launched Done, you helped me do that. I had an idea and then we went up there and you were like, actually,
I complicated it as much as possible.
I'm going to do everything. And so then it was like, I work for you. So I became the design assistant and you did your thing and Done.
The client experience team really comes in after onboard. So sales agents are still answering all those technical questions. They're building that rapport, that trust with clients. They're talking about pricing, and they're really just kind of going through the dream and the vision with clients. We celebrate all the wins and we bring sales back in. That's the lifeblood, right? They've made the connection. They've built the trust.
What's up?
What's up?
We are sitting in your creation here, but I want to tie it into kind of your new role. So you've been on the show more than anybody other than Ross. But now you're like sitting in a new role as of January 1st.
January 1st.
And so talk a little bit about that and what that's been like and what you do now.
So I'm really excited about the role, but I think starting at Barndo, we had always talked about what it would be like to have client experience coordinators or closing coordinators. We kind of threw around a lot of names, but the point of the conversation was just to have a team of people that all they did was train on products, process, pricing, and they just handled client experience. Our team, we hold meetings every week. We start with core values, but the whole purpose of the service we provide is 5-star service. And so it's going to be such a wild ride. We're just getting into the thick of it. Working with clients has been so good for my soul. Working in sales was amazing. I love that squad so much, but working with clients again and just meeting their every single need and trying to make that experience super fun while doing it has just been incredible for me.
Yeah, well, you've always been super tied into the process of what we're doing because you're a very opinionated person. So you always will grab something that isn't what you want it or think it should be and dive in to make it better. And as we grew and the teams got bigger and all the different things, like what leading a group of salespeople is one thing, but looking forward and building out what is the client experience going to be like in every market and making it the same regardless of market, that's an uphill battle, right? Because prior to you moving over and creating this whole new team and division, it's really subject to the personalities of the salespeople in that area of what the experience became.
Yes.
And then as we kind of switched over to this showroom model, right, with these incredible design centers, there's just a lot of pieces that go into that, but beyond just selections and proposals and all that, like there's a lot of deeper level client experience things that just help the process move quicker, more swiftly, and more uniform, and it becomes a repeatable process, right? So everybody's doing it the same way everywhere we operate, and anybody from any part could walk into any office and do it the same way, and that wasn't the case.
Correct. Yep.
So you start championing that. And then also simultaneous to that, we had the great idea to build 3 design centers at one time.
Yes.
And you said you want to do 6 next time, which I was shocked.
I'm looking forward to it.
But talk a little bit about this. Like you're sitting, like you were here. I was telling someone earlier, this Nexton showroom for me is kind of a full circle moment because when we first decided to launch a second location and we wanted to kind of be past Columbia, as close to Charleston, and so we could kind of tackle the state from both sides. Summerville came into my radar, and I've told the story about how you came to work here and all that, but the first time I came here, and part of that trip was A, to see if I could figure out where we could put an office. B was to interview and try to convince you to come and work with us. I stayed at this courtyard. And I remember waking up the first morning we were here and I was drinking coffee and I was on a corner room at the very top floor of that thing, and I was looking over this little Nexton Square area, and Hannah was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm visualizing, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to be there." And we got up and like walked around. I think we had dinner the night before at the little sushi restaurant, and I was like, we need to be here. This is where people are. This is where we need to be. And it just didn't work, right? Like there was nothing available for one. And then, number two, it was like, we can't just open up in the middle of Nexton Square. Like it's an expensive place to be.
Yeah.
And we didn't even sure if we were going to be here or have a team or anything. And then later that morning, met you over at Vicious Biscuit. And
one of the hottest places in town.
Did a great job casting vision. And 50% convinced you. I think it took you a week to come back and say yes, but I was driving that one home pretty hard to try to get you to come and be part of the team. But then to be able to come back, what, 6 months ago is what, Q3 of 2024?
Yeah.
And you and I were having lunch over here, and I kept looking out the window, and you're like, "What are you looking at?" And I was like, "I think I see a vacant building on Nexton Square." And we walked over here.
Which is so rare.
Yes. We walked over and there was a business card, and we called the guy and he's like, "Yeah, they're moving out. We're going to list it in a couple weeks." And I was like, "Don't even list it, bro. Just send me the thing. We're moving in here."
Yes.
We couldn't even get in the building. We didn't know how big it was, knew nothing, but I was like,
through the glass.
"We're going to be here." And then to come back today and see, 90% complete and you guys almost ready for the ribbon cutting. Talk about that for you. All right. Like we're in your back door. This is where you've lived and done business forever. Like to be able to be here and be on Next and like have a design center like this, like for you, what has that been like?
Well, so the courtyard that you guys stayed in, first of all, after I got hired, was the place I met my 2 PMs that were building here every Monday for a meeting.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be here too. But I mean, I live in Nexton. It's the hottest place in Summerville. They're doing a downtown Nexton. It's going to mimic downtown Charleston. Everybody wants to be here, spend time here. And so having the opportunity to come in here, and I remember telling you, like, if there's anywhere that we want to spend the next 5 years growing, it's going to be a Nexton. So I feel like it was just meant to be that we swung by here. Only place that we looked at that entire day that wasn't listed. And so it's going to be an incredible opportunity for us for foot traffic. But to watch it come together and to see the community, they have been walking by. We've seen sometimes the same person walk by over a couple weeks. A lot of people work here. They eat here every day for lunch. They train at the gym across the street. They get physical therapy next door. So you see some of the same people over and over that are going into the physical therapy office next door, peeking in, smiling, waving, and they're like, "Oh, they have cabinets now. Oh, they have counters." We have people that come in and ask like what we do, if we offer clothes, because the boutique side is still up outside. But they pop in and just ask how things are going. Like they're excited. Us always wanting to put our stamp on the community. We're not going to be able to do that anywhere more effectively. We'll be able to do it here.
Beyond location, talk about experience. I walked in last night, actually. I couldn't wait. I had to come in early. So
I thought you would.
We were in here rummaging around trying to figure out where we were going to set up to do the podcast and everything else. And I'm just taking it in. I was like, literally, guys, the last time I was in this building, it was just an empty shell. There was nothing here. And then to come in and see this, like being in the new role, you've done a really good job of like finding not just a pretty good eye for what clients are looking for when they come in, but also new vendors and new opportunities to partner with people in different geographical areas and really tie more into local communities through our building process. And this is one of those areas, like, with a new cabinet provider, and there's just a lot of things. And like every day I see you posting things and doing things, and I have no idea what it is you're doing, but I'm always like, I trust the process. It's going to be great. And then walking in here is just fantastic. So like, talk about that. Like you had a vision from when we launched Done, you helped me do that. And I had an idea, and then we went up there and you were like, actually,
I complicated it as much as possible.
I'm going to do everything. And so then it was like, I work for you. So I became the design assistant, and you did your thing and Done. And then Knoxville came, and we got a little better at it. And then we decided to do these 3 at one time. And then you kind of got launched into this new thing, and then you just took over, and we're like, all right, we're doing this. And so you just designed 3 design centers. And oversaw like getting them all built out, and they're all in similar stages of being done.
They are.
But like, what is that like for you? Like, you this is what you thrive and live for. It's like the perfect storm to be able to move you into this role and create this opportunity. Like we basically created it based off of your ability to do it. Um, what's that like? Like, what were you most excited about for your new team, client experience team, right? Where you guys are doing that. First of all, I would say tell people where you guys come in the process and when y'all exit the process, and then what everything is that y'all do for clients during the process.
Yeah. So the client experience team really comes in after onboard. So sales agents are still answering all those technical questions. They're building that rapport, that trust with clients. They're talking about pricing, and they're really just kind of going through the dream and the vision with clients. When they come on board, we really take them on as coordinators. So we want to walk them through each part of the process. One of the hardest things for clients is they come on like guns blazing out of onboarding. They are ready to do everything day one. They want to do it faster than the process can move. And so our job is really to keep the excitement going, but to have them trust the process. So we take them out of onboarding, we get them into site visit and assess their site. And that's super fun because they usually get to meet maybe not their project manager, but a project manager. And so they're talking about site, house placement. They're really excited. And then we put them into design. We have an incredible design team that we work with that is fast, efficient, but they share the same core values as we do, and they have vision. They've been operating since the mid 90s. So they are experts in the field. And so they're helping clients navigate that design process. And we have a good time doing it. Super fun. When they're coming out of that, we're getting into the design center, which is where my heart and soul truly is. Being in the design center and watching people get creative, watching people walk through the kitchen and pick the colors, but they're really talking about they have a passion for baking and they bake with their kids. So we're talking about prep space. We're talking about double ovens. We're talking about flooring. We have clients that have special needs children, which I think all of us have a heart and a passion for. We support our communities big in that space. So we're talking about what kind of floors do they need to put down? What's ADA compliant? How do we need to warranty it? And so just designing their home around the way that they live, their home, so much fun. And, you get into the proposal, which we've talked about a little bit, but that transparency and trust that we've spoke about so many times on the show, just being able to lay out all of the pricing and let them take a look at it and then make informed decisions on where we need to make tweaks and edits. Sometimes we don't. They're just like, that's great. Sometimes we have a little more room in the budget. And I really love that because I'm like, oh, you have, like the old show we used to watch on HGTV. We have $50,000 left in your budget. Here's your 3 options. We can upsize this porch. We can, level up on counters or cabinets like you want to. And so I just love all of it. There's not one part of the process I love more, but just taking clients through and making it fun while we do it. And that's just something we don't want to be routine.
And so then you walk them through basically all the initial steps to get them to a point where they feel that they've maximized their budget. They've got what they were looking for. They've made all these selections, and they're not just talking about an idea. Now they're talking about a real physical thing. And then it goes back into sales and then pushes out into the finance. And then how long do y'all hang around at all in that process as far as, once they say, yeah, I like this number, they sign, they do everything. Like when are y'all out?
We celebrate all the wins and we bring sales back in because that's the lifeblood, right? They've made the connection, they've built the trust. And so there's a ton of touch points where you're still working with your sales agent throughout the process, usually to celebrate all the big wins, which we love. And so after they come out of finance, we still have to go through pre-con meeting. So we get to talk with them about pre-construction meeting and what that official handoff is going to look like. And it's a bittersweet moment because it's kind of that last big celebration, dropping off the closing gift or coming when they get out of finance is kind of our last big handoff for that pre-con meeting.
Yeah, I'm excited about the team because it makes it more efficient.
It does.
And
consistent too.
Yeah.
So every client knows what to expect. And how many clients have we had where their neighbor is now going to be building that's a friend of theirs, or their parents or the parents' kids, they now want to build too. And so we don't want them to come to us and say, well, my best friend just built with you. My process isn't the same, or my experience hasn't been the same. And so creating that consistency, you're still getting a lot of different personalities. My client experience team has a lot of different personalities on the team. But but they're all going through the process the same way.
And we have those in all the showrooms,
Yes.
and it's a process to build, right?
Yeah.
So what we did know is we have a lot of people that want to build
Yes.
barndominiums, and the sales team is rushing at getting people in the door. But it's a lot of work. And so, with sales trying to manage all that and stuff, like you hit a wall. And so as we grew, like it was perfect timing. And not only that, but to have someone who's taking the nuts and bolts pieces and moving through that process with them, and literally they're directly tied into all of these fixtures and finishes and everything, and they're educated on this, and they're not thinking about anything but this.
Yes.
Is creating insane process improvement of
Yes.
the process and the time to go through it and the attention to detail and being able to really spend that time with those clients, and you're not competing for a different phone call or all these different things. It's not just a person managing 35 people. It's a team of people managing 35 people.
And that becomes a concern for clients over time too, because they can see how many clients are coming to us. And, we're not out cold calling or calling leads that we pay for. These are clients that are essentially putting their face up against the glass and like begging for 30 minutes of our time. They want to know what's going on too. They want to onboard too. But that back end process, it's a lot of admin work. It's a lot of structure, and sales team has people that are lined up around the block waiting to get an appointment. And so we're just an extra resource for the sales team.
This episode is sponsored by the Barndo Co. You can visit us online at thebarndoco.com and get started building your dream barndominium today. We specialize in build on your lot turnkey barndominium solutions. We have a whole gallery of plans that you can explore through. You can also go full custom route. You can get in touch with us through the website by filling out the contact us form, and one of our Barndo professionals will reach out to you, get your dream started today. So in Nexton, what's your favorite thing that we got to put in this showroom that was kind of like a dream thing? Like, I want to be able to showcase this, or we get lots of questions about this. And so having the ability to really showcase it, what is that for this office for you?
It is the 20-foot wraparound fireplace. First walk in the door that is completely covered in stone. Yeah. And let me just tell you how much fighting I had to do to get that fireplace in here. I lost so much sleep over that fireplace, but I think the stone fireplace is, and if you watch the podcast or you see the videos that marketing puts up on Facebook and you see those stone fireplaces, such a barndominium thing that you would do. And so having one in the showroom is really important for me because our showroom here has really naturally high ceilings. It's a blessing and a curse. I really wanted to build the ceilings down. When I realized it would be more difficult to do that, I was like, well, if I have to have the high ceilings, stone fireplace to the ceiling sounds like a great idea.
I think you should have went bigger. Yeah,
I think I just went bigger. But no, I think the stone fireplace is the biggest statement piece. And then just the kitchen displays. In our previous showroom, we didn't have the space to really showcase cabinets and appliances and oversized mega islands, which is a huge staple in most of our builds too.
And so let's talk about Conway.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about this is, yeah, it's the same concept of showroom, but every space is different.
Their own identity.
Yeah. And they're all unique.
Awesome.
And like, I see photos coming along and I'm like, I can tell Alicia's been there. Right. But so like what do you think is the statement for Conway people? So Conway, they're going to come in that showroom and each space kind of has the same things, but a few unique things.
Yeah.
What is it there?
When you walk through the front door, the entrance looks like a back porch. It's incredible. It's got the metal wall that looks like your back porch. It's got the porch post, the stone wrap columns, the fireplace is going, and we kind of did the sitting area with more of like an outdoor furniture vibe. So it's like back porch sitting. And I mean, you're 20 minutes from the beach. Who's not going to be sitting on their back porch? And I also got a like 4 foot by 4 foot Connect 4 outdoor game. So like when clients have kids that come in or, they're sitting waiting on their sales agent to be ready for their appointment, you're really getting that outdoor back porch vibe.
And then Greensboro, we were joking about Greensboro office because it was enormous. And I was like, what are you going to do with all the space? You're like, it's full, TJ.
Corner to corner, we've filled it up.
Greensboro probably has some unique things that I saw in some pictures that like don't normally make showroom cuts, but they had the space. So they got a few different things in there. Talk a little bit about that for Greensboro.
Yeah. So we've got multiple selection centers. So we've got where you're doing all your kitchen design in the front. You've got a stone wall and a fireplace there as well that showcases our core values and our mission statement when you come through the front door. But then you've got a second half of that showroom where you've got conference room. It's a little more intimate and you've got a whole nother selection center. And we were able to highlight bathroom in a big way there that we haven't been able to do anywhere else. So you've got a full tile shower. Some of it's exposed, which is really cool. So you can see what goes in behind the scenes. I know the women don't care about that, like Anna mentioned before, but the men want to see what's going in behind the walls. And so we were able to showcase that. And we were also able to showcase fiberglass inserts, which is something we just haven't had the space to do before. So they've got multiple little centers that you can walk through. And it gives you a little bit more space for multiple agents to be able to work at the same time.
You took this over in January. You had a full plate. Showrooms are wrapping up. Ribbon cuttings are scheduled. What do you think that's going to look like for the next 9 months as you're wrapping up the year and like things, you're training on and you're building out this thing and your team's going to grow. There's absolutely no question about it. But like, what are you most looking forward to for your team for the rest of 2025?
So travel and training is going to be really big. My team loves to travel, which is great. And they love to train, which is great too. Sales team is incredible at selling. They don't want to, they want to just sell. And so we have the unique opportunity to be able to train on the products that are in our showroom. So I've got selections managers that have already made appointments with our vendors that are coming in and they're learning everything there is to know about our products, from thickness to options to upgrades to, like we talked about, the ADA compliancy of it. And just making sure that we can offer everything that's needed for our clients in every showroom, but we're really educated so there's no surprises on the back end. And then just traveling to the showrooms and making sure that selections are consistent across the board. They're in good working order. We're adding those touches to the offices so that when clients come in, we've got the appropriate snacks, the appropriate beverages, things for the kids to do.
It makes me excited to know that like we have the ability and the capacity now to focus more and more on clients all the time. And what's fun is like working with businesses and like, I work with tons of different entrepreneurs and I bring people in and it's just, I'm always involved with this. Right. And I tell everybody in the beginning, all you talk about is your product, right? Because you're trying to figure out, is this thing viable? Is it not viable?
Right.
And it's product. And then at a point it becomes people, and those people are like your employees, right? And then you're focusing on that. And then you get to focus on process. And process is where you're taking care of your clients. And the more that we've gotten the ability to focus on process, the better it gets. And it just constantly gets better. So not only are we getting bigger, right? Geographically,
you can't stop it.
It's yeah. But every time we get bigger, we get better. And we get better and better and better. And it's kind of mind blowing. Like you shared a video, and this has absolutely nothing to do with client facing, but you shared a video of the system and the process of how all this information is traveling through and creating efficiencies and getting every little tiny detail. And it blew my mind. You just dropped that in there in our internal little chat, and I seen it. You're like, here's a video of something. I don't even know if that was intended for me to see, but I was like, well, let me watch this. And I was blown away that like all the checklists and all the little things. And like, I'm talking like minuscule things that I would have never even considered, right? Have been considered, and they are talked about and they are checked off along the way, and all the documentation and everything that comes into that, so that when those people go into construction, they're going to have a better experience than anyone's ever had in our whole entire existence as a company. And so it's really fun for me because the biggest question I get is, how do you keep it good as you get bigger? And I think by getting better as we get bigger, it's just inevitable. Like we're better as a big company than we were when we started. And it's only going to get better from here. Like, and now that you have the capacity to get out here and make new relationships with incredible vendors and stuff that we wouldn't even have the mental capacity to have a conversation with prior. I'm just excited. The future's bright.
I know.
And I'm excited. And just because we're cutting the ribbon on these three doesn't mean that I haven't already been in the kitchen cooking.
Have no doubt.
For what's coming next. Good feedback, right? Like 3, maybe that's chaos. But we are definitely expanding,
Yes.
and we've got some more expansion planned, and I'm excited to talk about that in the future. But we're so close to these ribbon cuttings, so I would say if you're in the Greensboro, Conway, or the Summerville, Nexton area, be watching social media. Keep your
Yeah,
ears pinned back for those announcements for ribbon cuttings, and come out and hang out with us because we always have a good time when we do those.
absolutely. I mean, we love it. And the client experience team, again, with the events and the ribbon cuttings, it allows sales agents to be able to walk those clients through, and the client experience team can entertain the kiddos. So,
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to make people aware of, or anything that I didn't hit that you feel like needs to be said? Because you've been living behind the scenes. Like I feel like
have,
both of us, to be as like people focused as we are,
yeah,
have been head down for the first 90 days of this year, and it's an uncomfortable place to be.
it
But
is.
there's a lot of things that come from that when that happens. So, is there anything else you feel like needs to be?
It's going to be so worth it. And I would just say that for communities, even if you're not thinking about building a barn dominium, I always tell clients after I speak to them, if we're not the right fit, but you've had a really great experience getting to know us, talking to us, or even onboarding with us, to let family and friends know, to let colleagues know, to come out to the events, because our events impact people more than any other company I've ever been a part of. And so coming to the events and just having a good time, spreading awareness, contributing, especially in the low country, the events I hold, like the adoption event for the dogs that we did back at Christmas, was such an impactful event that we're still seeing the rewards from that event, just for the adoption center, but also for Barndo too. So just coming, spending some time with us, hanging out, getting to know us as people. Um, we love every minute of it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and spending a little time talking about your new gig.
Yeah, I love
Um,
it.
and I'm excited to see what you do because I mean, you always put the chef's kiss on what we do. So I'm excited. I'm excited for ribbon cutting. I'm excited to be sitting here in Nexton, to where
Oh,
a dream was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, just a thought, and now here we are, like front and
awesome.
center, right on the square,
We're ready.
and it's time.
Yeah.
So.